What's happening, people? It's your boy Big Uggs, and welcome back to the Voice of the Tune. Today we're talking Spurs. Newcastle United host Spurs tomorrow in the early kickoff in the Premier League at home. Um, and for me, this is another tricky game. Both teams looking for points. Both teams looking for different reasons why they need points. So for us, we're trying to qualify for Europe, whether that is in the top six or whether it's top seven. Spurs, trying to cement themselves in the Champions League places. So, there's a lot at stake in this game. To be fair, there's going to be games like this across throughout the league because wherever you look, unless you're Crystal Palace and you're probably sitting 14th or 15th in the league, there's teams in this league now that's battling for something, whether it's the title, whether it's Champions League, whether it's European spots, or whether it's to stay in the league. Everyone has an interest in this running. So for us, this is a tricky game. We know a lot about Spurs this season. I was at the Spurs game away from home in London early on in the season where we got battered 4-1, I believe. And that for me was brutal. That was the beginning, or that was during the period where people were suffering with injuries. The boys were sort of struggling away from home. Since then, not much has changed because we're still having injuries. We're still struggling with injuries, but we managed to get the win last weekend against Fulham 1-0. So our record in London has improved, obviously, from getting a win. But tomorrow we're back at home, and for this game, I fancy us in this game because if you look at, I think the only reason why I'd say that I don't fancy us is because again the injuries that we're having, and it's sort of we're getting players coming in like Lewis Hall coming in and not training, and players are getting injured. So, but at home, I fancy us against any side in the Premier League and against Spurs. If we play the way we know how to play, and I say it every time, but if we're still aggressive at home and we can use the crowd, and fight against this team, then I don't see why we can't get the win. So. And also going off of the game last season at home, that famous 6-1 win where we scored 5 goals in 21 minutes, and Isak was like, what's going on here? So, Spurs, we know how to beat them, but that side that we played last season is a completely different side. They've got a different manager, they've got different mentality, different philosophy, and I'm a big fan of Ange Postecoglou. He brings to mind Eddie Howe in a way because he's come into this team and he's just changed everything. He's changed the mindsets. He's he's not asking for the best players in the world. He just wants players that's going to work hard for him, and he's got that in Brennan Johnson. He's got that in Werner. He's got that in midfield with Papsar. So Spurs, they don't have those flashy names, but they are a good side. They know how to win games. They've got quality players. Son, Maddison, who can cause us problems. Maddison, we know, has been injured. He came back and he's not really hit the form, but still dangerous. Still something that we need to look out for, especially in midfield, because I feel like the gap, like I said before, the gap between our midfield and defence for me is where we struggle. So Maddison in that hole could be, their go-to guy to create things for Son, create things for Richarlison, whoever is up top. Werner, so I think he's the guy that we're going to need to watch, James Maddison. But I'm not going into this game thinking, oh, this is a tricky game that we could lose. Of course, we could lose it, but I'm not scared. Basically, it's what I'm trying to say, because I do back us to get the win. I do feel like on our day, if we perform the way I know that we can, I don't see why we can't get the win. So. But I do expect there to be goals. Spurs do concede goals, and so do we. Spurs concede a lot of goals. They hardly keep clean sheets. They always tend to concede first. So if we go in there and get the first goal, and we stay solid, because they don't usually have a good first half. They tend to wake up in the second half. So if we can blow them away like we did in the fixture last season where it was 5-0, I'm not expecting that, but if we could do something like that and start quick and score goals quick early on in the game and kill the game off, then we leave Spurs with a difficult task to get back in the game. But Spurs do know how to win games coming from behind. Them and Liverpool probably are the best in the league at doing that. So even if we do score first, we need to be wary of their second half performance. So but this for me is an opportunity to close the gap and to even leapfrog Man United into sixth place, drag them into the race, because obviously now from them drawing to Liverpool last week, they didn't get the win. We got our win, so we closed the gap on them, and we can overtake them with a win, and hopefully they drop points as well. So there's still a lot to play for us, even though we're out of all the cups. But it might seem like injuries are kicking in again, but still hopeful, and I'm still hopeful for European places. I'm still hopeful for top six now, and Europa League. So if we can do that with this game and get the win tomorrow, then that sets us up well, because we've been in decent form. We was beating Fulham, and the draw to Everton, which wasn't ideal, but then obviously West Ham win. So we're picking up points now, but everyone around us is also doing the same thing too. So we've just got to keep going and end the season strong, and hopefully tomorrow pick up the 3 points. So there's some injuries. Eddie Howe did speak in the media, and he says Joe Willock is unlikely to be fit for tomorrow's game. He's been seen, especially on his Achilles. We know that this Achilles has been giving him problems throughout the season, so there's nothing new there. But the news was positive, but he's likely to need a period of rest. So Eddie Howe counts us out Willock for this game. That's another midfielder out. Lewis Hall, who's come in for probably the injured centre backs, because Dan Burns had to go inside. He's not trained, or a week, but he's a doubt. Eddie Howe says he's not trained. He's suffering a quad problem, and he's a doubt to feature. And we've got Livramento, who also came in for Trippier. He's the closest of the injured players to return, but hasn't joined any training sessions yet. So I doubt all 3 of those guys will feature in tomorrow's game, and that leaves us with more injuries to think about. And especially in defence, I don't know, boy. I don't know, because we don't have centre backs, and Lewis Hall, who's come in, and also Tino are both out. So it leaves a tricky task for Eddie Howe in terms of the team he's going to play. The team that I believe is going to play, I believe he's going to do. Hopefully Trippier's fit. To be fair, hopefully Trippier's fit, because he was due to be back mid of April. So hopefully Trippier's fit. I'll do Ingo Dubravka, Trippier, Burnshaw, Kraft, if that. I'm not sure, to be fair. Centre mids, Bruno Longstaff, Anderson, if that, because obviously Miley's injured, Willock's injured, and Big Joe, who we know is signing a new deal, is still injured. So that will be the midfield, and up top, Barnes, Gordon, and Isak. That will be the team that I'll play. I think Almiro and Jacob Murphy. Murphy might feature, to be fair. Eddie Howe likes to play Murphy when we got players missing because of his hard work. So I wouldn't put it past him to play or to start maybe at right back. Who knows? But it's going to be a difficult one for us in terms of getting players out there, and that will be probably the only reason why I would say this game, it's a tricky test because of the players that we're missing. So, but that's not an excuse. We need to go again, galvanise the team. Every match is important now, regardless of who plays and who don't play. The players that we have are still good enough to be picking up points. So I back us to get the win. I'm going to say there's going to be goals in this game. I think this game is going to be a goal fest. And I'm going to predict a 3-2 Newcastle United win. How about that? 3-2 Newcastle United win. Isak to continue his fine vein of form to get 2, and Anthony Gordon to score again. That's my prediction for the game. Thanks for watching. It was a pleasure. Make sure to like, to comment, and to subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next video. I'm out.